Russian and U.S. delegations are meeting in Istanbul today to work on mending relations. Both sides say they're planning to iron out issues over embassies in Washington and Moscow. This comes as President Trump says Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy will be visiting the White House tomorrow to sign a minerals deal. ABC's foreign correspondent Tom Soufi Burridge has the latest on all that. Tom, Russian President Vladimir Putin says meeting with the new administration is inspiring hope. So how are these talks going so far, and how are European allies reacting?
I think, Diane, from the Russian perspective, the optics are going incredibly well, right? We've had this about turn from the US position, this rapprochement towards Russia, not even recognizing now that the war in Ukraine was started by Russia and by Russian aggression. I think for the US, for the Trump administration, they've got Russia at the table. So they'll say that that is an achievement in itself, and that was their goal, to get the sides talking and ultimately to try and push through this deal. What's not clear at this stage is what are President Trump's levers against the Russians, and what are the concessions that Russia is willing to make? We know, broadly speaking, the Ukrainians are willing to give up territory, maybe not recognize officially that territory as being Russian, but effectively saying they won't try and retake some of the territory occupied by Russia by force. But we just don't know what the concessions the Russians are willing to make. And I think we're short of substance, therefore, in terms of progress on the talks and actually getting to a point where a ceasefire looks realistic right now. So this could be a very, very long process. I think for the Europeans, at this point in time, European leaders are deeply, deeply concerned. I think they're worried, freaked out even by the language from President Trump, that baseless claim calling Zelenskyy a dictator after Zelenskyy accused Trump of sitting in a Russian disinformation sphere. So I think for European leaders right now, they're very, very worried. But Europe is not a homogenous community, right? There's lots of different voices. Eastern European countries, I think there's more of a message from them saying, look, let's not listen to the language, let's look at the actions, and let's keep pushing the Trump administration to see what action they're willing to take if there is a ceasefire on the ground.
Now, Tom, Trump says Zelensky's traveling to the White House to sign this minerals deal tomorrow. Yesterday, Zelenskyy said the economic deal did not include U.S. security guarantees, but that he wanted to talk further with President Trump about that. So how likely is it looking that this deal will actually get signed?
I think it looks likely that the deal will be signed tomorrow, that Zelenskyy will travel to Washington. But of course, there has been this slight war of words between Zelenskyy and Trump, so therefore we'll have to sort of wait and see. And in terms of the security guarantees, that is at the crux of everything, right? So there is this transactional deal on the table, this idea that the US can tap into Ukraine's mineral deposits, payback for all that military assistance since 2022 that the US has given to Ukraine, and also Ukraine hopes that it will tie in the US to Ukraine's future. But really, what the Ukrainians are looking for are these security guarantees. And what that means is basically something like bolstering Ukraine's air defense, giving them access to US intel, that type of thing that would prevent the Russians, if the Europeans were also involved, and that's what President Trump has indicated, that Europeans need to take the lead on this, would prevent Russia from re-invading, re-attacking Ukraine in the future, which they did in the past. Diane?
Foreign correspondent Tom Soufi Burridge, thank you.